The philosopher Aristotle had a very humbling and powerful concept. He called it final cause. Final cause is the idea that all human behavior is toward a given end. So everything you're doing right now is toward a goal, and your whole life is actually pointed toward what is called a default future. There's a book called The 3 Laws of Performance, and in that book they talk about the concept of default future, and that our future that we most believe in and most see for ourselves and most expect is the one we're actually creating right now. The beautiful part is you can actually change that. In this video, I'm going to ask you a very humbling question. There's a great quote that says, all progress starts by telling the truth. So the sooner you can start being honest with yourself, the sooner you can start changing things. You can't change something that you're not either aware of or not honest about. If you're deluding yourself, then you're waiting for tomorrow. There's actually a great quote that says, if you wait for too many tomorrows, you'll find you have a lot of empty yesterdays. That comes from the play, The Music Man. And so you will have a lot of empty yesterdays and just be drifting and coasting if you're not clear and committed to this one question, which is, what are you actually going for? Everything in your life is channeling towards what you're going for. And there's a lot of research on the concept of what's called deliberate practice, or even a concept called fitness function. And fitness function is the idea that we're always shaping ourselves into what we're optimizing ourselves for. Hey, Dr. Benjamin Hardy here, author of Be Your Future Self Now. A quick interruption to your YouTube video to invite you to go to futureself.com so that you can immediately download the one-page Future Self cheat sheet, as well as the full Future Self course and other goodies, all free. That's futureself.com. Now back to your YouTube video. And most people are optimizing themselves toward a standard that was given to them by the outside world. Main point here, main question is, what are you actually going for in your life? And where did that goal come from? Again, most people's goals come from the outside world. They've never stripped away the noise and actually defined for themselves what they want. Albert Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. You can actually change 10x, 1000x, or just honestly change the quality so that what you're going for is of much higher value. You get to just choose. This is the key aspect of having agency and being a human being. Back to Aristotle and final cause, this is what makes human beings different and more intelligent than any other species on the planet, is that we can be intentional. Intelligence and intentionality are completely connected concepts. And being an intentional human being, you can actually define and choose what you value, what you go for, and why you're going for it. And you can change it. You can change the goal. Changing the goal, whatever you're going for, changing what you're striving for, what you're moving toward, is one of the most powerful things you can do as a human being. In psychology, the concept is called deliberate practice. And deliberate practice is basically the concept that's been studied on how people become world-class at what they do, how they become experts. And the main point here is that in order to engage in deliberate practice, which is where you're starting to develop skills and abilities, capabilities, where you're actually growing in knowledge, skills, confidence, you actually have to have a goal. Without goals, you can't develop this kind of skill because your practice or your process is always towards a goal. And so you have to have clear goals. Yes, also research shows you have to have a clear view of your future self. And you've got to get clear, connected, committed to a version of your future self that has the skills, the capabilities, the conditions, the situation you want, so that what you're doing here and now can be pointed in a direction so that you can be shaping your mind, your goals, your skills, your experiences, and carve those things into your future self and the person you want to be. So the main point here is, what have you chosen as your future self? What are you striving for? Because as a person, you basically are what you're striving for. Whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you focus on, you become. Whatever you're paying attention to, you're going to create more of, and ultimately that's going to be your future self. That also shapes the language you're speaking, the conversations you're having, the people you're around. So rather than having the outside world shape your future that you're striving for, which would be a default future that was not chosen, you ultimately want to use your human intelligence to really think things through, to think through what matters. This makes the past a really valuable tool, is you can learn from the past and you can analyze the past and you can say, how am I different than I was in the past? What was I pursuing that now I realize to me now doesn't matter that much? And you can actually think, what matters most? What do I value more than anything else? What is of highest value to you? Now, your values will change over time, but to clarify what you value and then to decide what is it you want to go for. You are what you're striving for. So what are you striving for? That is the biggest aspect of your identity, by the way, is the future that you're most striving for, the vision you have of your future self, that which you're most committed to. And when you elevate what you're striving for, you will go through that deliberate practice process deeper and faster. You'll transform more. Your days will be richer. They'll be thicker. Your time is either thin or thin. Thick time means that you're actually gaining a lot from it. You may be learning and growing more in a day than a lot of people do in a year or several years because they're honestly not striving for anything more than what they've already got. And they're overly worried about what the outside world thinks. And so they're not actually deep in their experience, but they're worried about what the outside world is thinking about them, which really slows you down and you're essentially a ship without a sail. So the question, again, back to you is, what are you striving for? Because you are what you're striving for. You are what you most want. And as human beings, back to Aristotle, everything we do is driven by a goal. That goal, final cause, is what we're striving for. It's what we're going for. Everything you're doing, even watching this video, is for an end. It's for a cause. I was asking my son this recently. I said, what's the goal in you texting that person? He said, there is no goal. And I said, yes, there is. There's always a goal or you wouldn't do it. Even if the goal is just to entertain yourself, just be honest with yourself. All progress starts by telling the truth. Where will this lead? That's a fantastic question. Where will this lead? Where is this taking me? But what is the goal? That's being honest. That's being intentional. There's always a goal. And human beings are intelligent to the extent that we're intentional, that we choose what we value, what we go for, and to the extent we go for it, but also when we're honest with ourselves and other people about what we're up to. So back to my son, Caleb, I said, why are you texting that person? There is no goal. He said, yes, there is. There's always a goal. At least be honest with yourself about why you're doing it. Even if, again, it's just to distract yourself. What is your goal in watching this video? Is it just to distract yourself from work? Is it to learn something? Is it to gain inspiration? What is it? There's always a goal for literally everything we do. But also, there's a future that you're going for, that almost all your energy is channeled towards. And so what is it that you're going for? You are what you're striving for as a person. That's just the fact. That's the truth. The beautiful truth is you can change what you're striving for. And that's your most powerful moments, is when you actually change and reclaim the future that you want, reclaim the goal, and that changes your daily process. I love the quote from Dan Sullivan. He said, the only way to make your present better is by making your future bigger. Also, the bigger the vision, the better the decisions. Frankl said that your present has no meaning unless it's connected to a purpose. When the why is strong enough, you can bear any how, but also you can find the how. And so your life, your process, your days start to take on massive new meaning, and you can transform and you can grow and you can gain a lot more. You can have a lot more thick time rather than thin time. If you re-envision and re-clarify the goal, make it much bigger, make it much higher, you can always find a way. Basically just, you are what you're going for. That's just the facts. You are what you're going for. And so the question is, what are you going for? What are you optimizing for? Who is your future self? Who are you becoming? Whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you focus on, you become. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. So what are you going for? Because that's what you are. Hope that helps. Dr. Benjamin Hardy here. Have a beautiful day.